believe that cardio workout cannot be done incorrectly. That is, they think that in any case, any aerobic load is always useful, and you can't make a mistake there. In fact, no. In this video, I will tell you the main mistakes that we often make in our cardio workout. So, the first and most fundamental mistake is not understanding the purpose of which we do cardio. And the whole thing is that you can do it in different ways, and the results will also be different. Cardio can be done for weight loss if we want to lose fat. Either we can do cardio to increase endurance if we are preparing for the competition, or we can do cardio to improve first of all the cardiovascular system. That is, the goals can be different. Of course, I don't claim that they all contradict each other, but you need to remember that each of these types of goals has its own strategy that needs to be adhered to. So, for example, if we strive to lose weight, then it is necessary to maintain a low and moderate in intensity cardio. That is, if we drop fat, it is absolutely useless to do cardio training which lasts less than 30 minutes. If we want to lose fat, cardio session should last from 30 minutes, even better around the hour. And the intensity should be low, because as soon as our pulse rises, for example, to 140, we go to so-called anaerobic threshold, and our muscles contract as a result of glycolysis and not lipolysis. That is, we burn glycogen, not fat cells. Therefore, if you want to lose weight, then you need a long cardio for 30 minutes in a low pulse zone, about 65% of the maximum, which is calculated as 220 minus your age, and focus on breathing. That is, if we breathe more or less freely, you can speak more or less freely, then everything is good. This is an excellent mode for fat burning. Another thing is if we train for sports achievements. If you have a goal to run a kilometer in a certain time or run to increase endurance, here the nature of the training will be completely different. And of course it will depend on the sport you are engaged in. You might need explosive strength or unit endurance. In this case, the pulse zone will be higher. And the third type is cardio workout, which we do to improve our cardiovascular system. Here, according to most cardiologists, the most optimal approach is interval cardiac loads. How is this done? Within a few minutes, we run with a small pulse, that is about 65% of our maximum. Then we go for a short time to a more intense interval. Keep it for about 1 or 2 minutes, then drop it again. What can it look like in practice? We run with a very easy run for somewhere from 3 to 5 minutes. Then we accelerate and run 1.5 times faster. Raise our pulse somewhere from 75 to 80% from the maximum. Don't stay there for a long time and reduce speed again. This approach is the most optimal precisely for improving the cardiovascular system. So, the main mistake is that people can set themselves the goal of burning fat, but engage in intensity, or on the contrary, want to achieve sport results, but are engaged too long and not intensively. That is, we need a strategic understanding of what we need and how we will achieve this. The next very common and even dangerous mistake we make in cardio workout is cardio with too high pulse. There is a thing called heart hypertrophy. So there are two types of hypertrophy. And one type of hypertrophy leads to increase in the elasticity of our heart muscle. And another type of hypertrophy leads exclusively to increase in its mass. And if elasticity is really useful, then increasing the mass of the heart is harmful. If we have been in anaerobic threshold for too long, that is, for example, a pulse of 150 and higher, that is, we have been running for a long time, then we are achieving the very harmful hypertrophy of the heart, which leads to an overall increase in its massiveness, and not elasticity. And this is fraught with the development of cardiovascular diseases over time. Therefore, it is categorically not recommended to raise our pulse above 150 per minute for more than 3 minutes. That is why the most useful thing is an interval cardio workout, when we just raise our pulse somewhere from 140 to 150, and immediately we reduce it and give the heart a recover. Then again, for a short period of time, we raise the pulse and quickly, without lingering, again reduce it. But very often people make such a mistake when they run already to darkness in their eyes, thinking that it will be cooler. It may be cooler, but there will be no more benefits from this. So the next point is to engage in cardio workout without taking into account contraindications. And this really often happens. Someone listened to some expert who said that cardio training will improve them, sports will only improve them, any diseases are treated only by sports. But sometimes people really have contraindications to some sports. For example, running. There are sad statistics that up to 90% of people who started running are injured in the first year. And the whole thing is that firstly, if you are overweight, then in general running is contraindicated for you, because overweight is immediately an increased load, first of all on your knees, as well as on the ankle and hip joints. Therefore, overweight people are advised to choose another cardio workout. It can be either a bicycle or swimming or elliptical simulators. For example, I most likely the elliptical simulators. You also need to know the running technique. Even if you are not overweight, you can still be injured. Without the correct running technique, the load on the joints increases. There are also contraindications, for example for a bicycle or a stationary bike. In particular, people who have hemorrhoids or prostatitis. By the way, prostatitis with age develops in every second man. For these people a bicycle is not recommended, because it provokes congestion in the pelvis and inflammation can only increase. And such people, of course, it's better to choose another cardio workout, such as swimming. Here is a very insidious moment too. We all know that swimming is very useful. We all heard that swimming is good for the spine, and in many ways it's really true. Swimming is useful for the spine, but firstly, swimming with the right technique, and secondly, for people who don't have specific spinal diseases, because there are contraindications. For example, cervical osteochondrosis, it's quite common. For such people it's categorically contraindicated to swim butterfly or breaststroke, that is when the neck is thrown back. Such people are much better off swimming on their backs when there isn't this neck deflection. I'm not saying that running is bad and your knees will fall apart. And I'm not saying that swimming is bad and your neck will fall apart. I'm not saying that the bike is bad and something else will fall apart. I'm not talking about it at all. This is all great. I'm just talking about the fact that in some cases there are contraindications in which it's better for a person to choose not running but swimming, or not swimming but a bike, and so on. And this needs to be taken into account, because we are all different and everything is very individual.